Hi there, and welcome to Retirement Your Way. I'm Debbi Marcum, the president of Retirement Solutions Group, and I would love to welcome my gorgeous co-host Jaclyn. How are you doing?
I am good. I feel like I'm just, running around like a hamster in its wheel, but, hopefully I'll get off of the wheel soon and I can make it stop.
Well, I think if you talk to any woman that's about to get married in the next few months, she's probably experiencing the same things that you are.
That's all I can hold on to for hope at this point that other people have gone through this,
Well,
but
also I want you to remember you will never be a bridezilla. That's just not in your DNA. So,
well, I think that's the issue is that I don't know how to say no and I don't know
oh,
how to like stand up for
yeah,
myself if that's, and so my best friend's amazing. I mean, I went to her
wonderful.
yesterday and she was like, "No, no, no. That is not you giving up. That is
Yeah,
not you,
mm,
she's like, "No, that's you being walked all over and you need to stand up for yourself. Like this is
good.
how you do it. This
Yeah.
is what you say."
Mhm.
Like, oh, she's the best. But
There are a couple of times in your life where you truly do need to be all about me. Now, a wedding, it's all about the two of you, because
yes.
I don't think it's just about
Yes.
the bride. And then also when you are expecting.
Yes.
Those are
That
times that,
too.
that you have the right to be a little selfish. And
Yes.
so, I stand up for yourself, and it's a once in a lifetime. And it's not the
Mhm,
most important part of your life, but it is a
mhm.
fun experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so, yeah, if you stand up for yourself, that's going to make it more fun for both of you.
Well, how are you doing, Debbie?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Yes.
A little already tired of the humidity.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
excited about this weekend. What a huge celebration for our country.
Yes, and I was just gonna say with the humidity, it's the same here. As you can tell, or our viewers today, I've got lion hair. This is my natural hair, but I decided I'm like straightening, curling it, not gonna do a
Yeah,
thing today. It's just gonna go back to normal. So I completely agree with you on that
still
one.
beautiful though.
What are your plans for this weekend to celebrate such a huge thing?
Well, we have incredible taste in friends, and so between our friends and our daughters, I'm sure we'll probably go out on the lake. And
Fun.
typically, my daughters and their spouses have a huge fireworks display at our place, but I think because it's the 250th year, we're probably not going to have to do that this year. We can rely on other people expending their finances for
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Plus, cleaning up after it is just awful. I
Yeah.
hate cleaning up after it because it makes a mess. But it's just such a huge celebration.
Mhm.
I mean, I clearly remember 1975 and what a big celebration that was, and it brought
Mhm.
back some really sweet memories from high school year. But
Yeah.
it's exciting, and I tell you, I've loved seeing all of everyone that's been in the United States recently because of the World
Yes.
Cup.
Japan!
They
Japan!
are so excited that they were misled about how wonderful America is. And
Yes.
so many have come in and said, we've been lied to our whole life. I mean, America is amazing. So I'm ready for them to kind of share that excitement, especially with some of our younger US population. They've had it so easy,
Mhm.
and they're a little spoiled, and
Mhm.
don't really appreciate what the United States is and what it
Yeah.
offers us.
Well, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, Debbie, because I heard a quote from somebody that said, if you wanna hate America, go to the media.
Yes,
And if you wanna love America, walk through it.
yes,
And, and I think what you're saying is, with this World Cup and all these, people, foreigners and everything like that, they get to experience it by firsthand, right? They
yes,
they get to walk on our soil and enjoy the fun and the happiness of it because media is so misleading, and I
yes.
don't know why it looks like that right now when there's such a big accomplishment, and I mean, it's huge, 250, like, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Meeting the people too. Although I don't understand the fascination with some of the food choices that they're making.
Yes, I can agree with that. Yes, I
It's
I
like,
can agree
really,
with that.
that's what you're in love with, ranch dressing.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes, I can agree
Of
with
course, I
that.
guess we take it for granted, but it's not one of my favorites. So maybe that's the problem.
Do you have you ever had ranch and pizza?
I've tried it.
Okay.
I've tried it. It's just not, that's not my go-to. I
I
can't eat it. It's just never going to be, my choice.
I completely agree with you. I do like ranch, don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah,
like it with like vegetables.
yeah.
I'm not a huge ranch and pizza person,
No.
or I don't know, what else do they put ranch on? I'll eat it with like wings, like chicken
Actually, I've
wings.
heard of people putting it on French fries, which I really don't get. Yeah, it was like, okay, yeah.
See, I'm a mayo person
I
personally,
know, and I love
but
you, but that's where we differ. Die
all
hard
right.
Miracle Whip here.
So, listeners and viewers to this podcast, you guys need to comment if you're ranch, mayo, or neither. If you think we're all crazy, because
Or
I
Miracle
think
Whip.
yes. Okay. Well, Miracle Whip mayonnaise, we'll call them the same thing in this case. Just say if you're a ranch, mayo, or neither. Like, what are you? Ketchup? Are you just ketchup?
For French fries, yes. Yeah,
But just like your favorite condiment. Like
yeah.
your what's your
Oh,
favorite condiment?
probably blue cheese dressing. It's not great for you.
Out of all condiments, you say blue cheese dressing. Okay,
I'm
now
sorry.
now you listeners and viewers better get on this because I no, there's a no. Mm-mm.
I mean, I limit that to vegetables and salad, so it's not like
Okay,
I put it on everything. Although I take that back. Chicken wings.
yeah,
I want
chicken
blue
wings.
cheese with chicken wings. Yeah.
Okay, chicken wings. How about French fries? Would you dip them in French? Would
No,
you dip?
I would not do that.
What
That's
other
ketchup
things?
only. That's
Yeah,
ketchup only.
what other things do you like? I don't know, a chicken sandwich. Would you put like blue cheese on a chicken sandwich?
Ooh, I've never tried that. I might have to try that because chicken. I might like that. I'll have to try it.
Oh, all right. Well, Debbie, you and I are just
Mhm.
having too much fun today. And, I want to get into this important
Yeah,
topic today because not only does, the title kind of catch the eye, but I think the topic
yeah.
really is an interesting one. So, Debbie, why don't you share with our listeners what we'll be talking about today?
Okay. Well, today it is retirement without the roller coaster.
Mm,
I could also call it peace of mind.
mm,
And um, I will never claim to be the expert in anything. However, peace of mind is truly what I thought of when I thought about today's topic, because I want us to just discuss annuities.
mhm,
There is a lot of misinformation and myths about annuities,
mhm.
and some of it might be warranted because of things that have happened in the past. But I will say that if you've ever thought about them, you need to do a little bit more research about what they actually mean today
Mhm.
because they are very different. And after my husband passed away, and the majority of our retirement was in the stock market, and it made me very nervous
Mhm.
because I clearly remember what 2008 did to us, and we lost a chunk of our portfolio.
Yeah, as
And
did everybody.
oh no, it
Mhm.
really hurt. And too often, when people talk about recovering from a bear market, for example, if it is 40% of your portfolio, it typically takes at least 6 to 6.5 years to recover from that. And that gets you back to a level playing field. So not only did you have 6 years of, having less money, it also wasn't making you money. So it's
Mm,
not that it's just taking you that long to recover. It's taking you that long to recover to just get back to that level playing field.
yes.
But you have also lost all of those years of growth. So it's significantly more than losing 40% of your portfolio.
Mhm.
And just a 20% decrease is going to take at least 3.5 years to recover, just to get
Mhm.
back to that level playing field. And you have not made any gains on it.
Mhm.
Back then it was zero is my hero, as long as I didn't lose. And that's one thing. People started looking at annuities a little differently because zero is my hero meant that, okay, I am not digging myself a big hole to recuperate from. So
Mhm.
when the stock market bounced back, they didn't have to dig themselves out of a hole. They were able to start from that that ground floor up. But now the annuities are so much better that you not only don't have to dig yourself out of a hole, you have often guaranteed growth, even during those difficult years of a
Mhm.
downturn in the market. So, first, I think we need to talk about the different types of annuities. Now, I think the poster child of what really gave annuities a bad name were variable annuities,
Mm.
because while you do have potential for some growth in there, they had high fees. They still do. They have high fees. And so those high fees usually meant that you were not earning as much. And
Mhm.
so there is risk involved with a variable annuity. Personally, my company has never recommended one. I can't see us ever recommending a variable annuity. So I kind of avoid those like the plague. But I think that the myths that come about of people wanting to avoid annuities came about because of variable annuities, those high fees. They
Mhm.
were they were complicated. They had embedded fees that were just kind of hidden. And the new ones have eliminated that. So they are they don't have those embedded commissions. Everything is upfront. They are much more flexible. There are many retirement researchers that are recommending those because they cover essential expenses in many cases. So it's a great tool for retirees. I love the safety aspect of it, but it needs to be more than just safety. I
Mhm.
want it to be safe, but I also want it to have guaranteed growth. I also want it to have accessibility because you need to be able to access those fees, access that money, and so much of them have improved, and the rates right now are just incredible. Um,
Mhm.
they are incredible. So I love that because it truly provided me with peace of mind. The
Mhm.
minute I moved my money out of the stock market in my retiring years into annuities, and I knew that they were 100% safe, I knew they had guaranteed growth, I knew that I had access to it if I needed it, really low fees. It was just the perfect venue for me as a retiree.
Mhm. So, I mean, let's just start with the basics. I just want to go back for a moment here because, annuities are basically guaranteed income for your retirement, right?
That can be. There are
And
different types, but that's
yes,
one of the best ones out there.
yes, and I think the other thing too is that pensions
Yes.
are not they're not as common
No,
anymore. And
no, a lot of
so
companies
not
are eliminating them.
correct. And so I think an annuity is kind of a form that people are using in place of a pension,
Yes.
right? Yeah. And so, it's different avenue to get that income. And there's different annuities like you just explained,
Yeah.
Debbie, and there's different reasonings behind them. And you're right. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about
Hmm.
is an annuity right for me? Is it not? And I think the most important thing out of this in conversation that I want our listeners and viewers to know is that it's so important to consult a financial advisor
Yes.
or a financial professional because it is not a one size fits all.
No, it is not.
Absolutely not. And I think it's so important to consult somebody to go over your individual plan and say, hey, I heard this from Debbie. This is what
Hmm.
I'm thinking. Is this right for me?
That's right.
And work through that with a financial professional to make sure that you're not making a choice that maybe your neighbor told you or a family member told you, and do it for you and your plan and what makes your peace of mind the best.
I agree. And, along with that, I love the fact that there are financial advisors who specialize in retirement. And
Yes.
so I would encourage you as you are approaching retirement that you meet with someone who specializes in that.
Mhm.
I would also encourage you to go with someone who's independent, who's not just tied
Yes.
to one company,
Yes.
because they are very different. It,
It
it's
can turn into sales.
it can turn into sales. And so I want someone who has your best interest at heart.
Mhm.
And as a fiduciary, I think being an independent is the best way to do that, because that allows, for example for me, I can do research and say, okay, this is what this client needs.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best avenue for them? And then if I've narrowed it down to an annuity, okay, what's the best company and what's the best product within that company
Yes. And
so that it
compare.
fits their needs and compares
Mm-hmm.
it. You mentioned pensions. Fewer and fewer people have a pension as even an
Mm-hmm.
option. I'm very fortunate that, as a teacher, I had that as well. But so many companies are doing away with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to ensure that you have a source of income as you retire. Now, right now, Social Security is available. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows what it's going to be, 30
I
years
don't
from
think I'm
now.
gonna get any.
I did some research this weekend and kind of found out that the people that hit 100 years of age is going to quadruple in the next 30 years.
Because we're living longer.
We are living longer.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you had told me at 15, there's a good chance you're going to live to 100, I probably would have said, oh, I don't think so. I mean, because if you pictured what 100-year-olds looked like
Yeah.
back then, that looked kind of like a rough road out. But now there are 100-year-olds out there golfing. And I saw one the other day of a 103-year-old woman skydiving, So we are living longer, more productive lives. However, we're typically doing it without an income at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And an annuity is a great tool, especially for those that want to optimize your Social Security,
Mm-hmm.
because there are fixed index annuities that can provide an income. There are immediate incomes that can provide an income. So let's say you've retired at 62, but like if you have me do a report for you and it says to fully optimize your Social Security, it's best to wait till 69 or 70. If you can wait till
Mm-hmm.
70, great. That's the biggest bang for your buck. That's not always the case for everyone, but let's say it's recommended that you wait till 70, but you need additional income. Then that immediate annuity
Mm-hmm.
provides that pension-like income for you until you turn on Social Security at 70. That way you're
Mm-hmm.
getting the bigger bang for your bucks. So it's a great way to fund your retirement if you don't have that pension, or to add to the pension. I
Yeah.
love the fact that it's safe, that you're not going to lose it, but it's also not only keeping up with the cost of inflation, it's exceeding it, because man, the rates right
Yes.
now are at an all-time high, I believe, for annuities. They are just incredible. And there's some that have fantastic bonuses. you know
Mm-hmm.
they are it's tax deferred growth. So,
Oh,
while
that's
I
great to
love the
know.
safety of a CD,
Mm-hmm.
you're still paying taxes on it while you're not able to access it.
Yeah.
So I love the tax deferred growth that you have.
Mm-hmm.
They often have lifetime incomes. They have long-term care benefits built into many of them. Um, there's real potential for growth on those. Plus, it provides not only that stability for your loved ones. It has great legacy benefits.
Mm.
Annuities bypass probate and it goes straight to the beneficiaries. So they have so many wonderful, perks that go along with it, along
Mhm.
with that guaranteed growth.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I
I,
think bringing up, that legacy part, I've heard, of, I guess, spouses, right? Thinking an annuity might be the best option for the other spouse, right?
yes.
Because they're like, I want to protect my
Mhm.
spouse if I'm gone or something happens to me. And what do you think about that, Debbie?
Listen, I have, especially the past 2 years, I have met with more married couples where the major bread earner in that family is concerned what happens to me, because the older we get, suddenly that time clock becomes a little bit more obvious of I might die,
Yeah.
and then what is going to happen to my spouse. And when you're younger, you tend to think that's never going to happen, but as you get older, the reality is, okay, I am getting older. I'm going to die
Mhm.
one day. So what is going to be there for my loved one? If you're already on Social Security, one of the Social Securities is going to be eliminated. And so these annuities that have the income are perfect for that, because it can provide, and you can do it for a single individual, you can do for a joint income. But
Yeah.
I love the fact that you have options. You also can pull out penalty free on this money, because I believe that your
Mhm.
money needs to be accessible. And I
Mhm.
don't want you to have to pay huge surrender fees for that.
Mhm.
I also encourage you, if you already have an annuity, talk to your financial advisor and see if there is a better option for you. I mean, every year on my annual reviews, I look at them and say, is this still the best place
Mhm.
for my money? And for example, if you have an annuity it's for example a 10-year annuity where that guaranteed growth is in there for 10 years, they've improved so much that I've been able to move things even with a 1-year annuity, because the rates were so much better. I was able to replace it. So on the annual reviews, I look at that. Is this still the best place? So I encourage
Mhm.
you that if you have an existing annuity, let's look at it and see if it's the best place for you still.
Mhm.
Your financial advisor should automatically be doing that for you.
Mhm.
But too often I see that not happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you brought up some great points here, Debbie. I think it's really about, like you said, peace of mind, knowing that your money's safe. And but I think it also involves just a balance and
Mhm.
diversification. I mean, you don't want everything in annuities. You don't
Yeah.
want everything in the market. And just balancing that for your legacy and your peace of mind. So important things, and it's so important to again consult a independent
Yes.
fiduciary who can talk through the rates and different options and what it will mean for you, and as well as how much, right? I
Yes.
mean, looking at your assets and thinking, okay, let's allocate this much to
Mhm.
annuities if that's what will help you feel better. Let's delegate this much to something else. And so it's really just important to talk through the options and the plan for you and maybe your spouse or your family.
I agree. I agree. It's a great option out there. And just personally speaking, the peace of mind that that gave me is
Mhm.
one of the main reasons why I started in this career,
Mhm.
because I like to share good news,
Yeah.
and for me that was a great win.
Mhm.
It was a great win for me.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Debbie, for such a great episode. I think, you're right. I mean, annuities get kind of a bad rap, but that's why it's so important to talk with a fiduciary who can
Yes.
explain maybe the positives of it. Because again, like we said, we say this on almost every podcast, it seems like, but the media portrays things that are
Yes.
false.
Hmm.
And
They
whatever
love
is
bad
being
news.
Yes. 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 That's how they make money. Just remember that.
Yes.
People make money off of bad news being, shared.
Yeah.
So, well, Debbie, before we go, why don't you share with our listeners how they can maybe get a hold of you? And I know that you offer a complimentary consultation where they can maybe discuss annuities with you.
Yes. The best way is to call my office at 866-247-5695, and you can speak to my lovely operations manager Andy, and she will set up a visit with you. And I would love to love it with me. You can also check out retirementsolutionsgroup.com. And of course, our Facebook page. They are renovating my website, so it should be up and new this week. So I'm excited about the improvements that they're making on that.
Ooh!
And then, of course, Jaclyn, I would love for you to either listen to us on our podcast or to follow us on YouTube.
Yes, yes. I prefer YouTube so you can
I do
see my
too.
lion hair today.
Well,
But
Gary would say mine is cougar like, since I don't really qualify as a lion, but
I need to bring out my inner emotional lion. I look like
yes.
one, but where's like the roar, you know? Oh, all right. Well, thank you, listeners and viewers, on
Thank
today's
you.
episode of Retirement Your Way with our host, Debbi Marcum.